Hi, it's Jim Dodson, the Florida Bike Guy. So I'm a cycling lawyer in Clearwater, helping other cyclists. And today I want to talk about what's happening with the East Coast Greenway Trail. I came across this trail not long ago, and I'm a little embarrassed to tell you that I didn't know much about it at all. Um, my week has been such that I haven't been able to devote a lot more energy finding much detail about it, but I want to tell you what I do know because I think it's most fascinating. So in 1991, a group formed with the idea of creating a trail from Maine to Florida. I think it starts in Calais, Calais, Maine, and it's taken it down through Florida to Key West. It's over 3,000 miles, and the unique thing about the East Coast Greenway Trail is that it goes rural to city. So rather than skirt around the major cities that it encounters, it is designed to go right through them, which is kind of interesting. And of course, then that allows people in the cities to get onto the trail right away, to get out of the city, to get to the next area. So, this is a kind of endeavor that takes a long time to actually complete. And there is, of the 3,000 miles, the goal is to have it entirely protected trails the entire length. About 1,000 miles of the trail have been put together, about a third of it, and 35% of what has been done is actually constitutes protected trails. We are going to post a Wikipedia site that gives you a great deal of information about all the trails that are incorporated in Florida that make part of what is going on with the East Coast Greenway. Of course, Florida has a tremendous growth in trails, and things are happening literally every day to connect our network and make it better. The trail, of course, runs along the East Coast basically from up by Jacksonville, north of Jacksonville. St. Mary's is on the Georgia side, whatever the south side of that is, into Florida, and along Fernandina Beach and down St. Augustine, Ormond Beach, down all along the beaches on the East Coast to Key West. So I think it's a very interesting thing to check out. There's another thing I want to mention to you. This summer, they're actually going to have a ride from one end of the trail to the other. And it's being promoted by a group called Timberline Adventures. And this is actually a supported ride. It's going to last a couple of months for the entire thing, but they're putting together the opportunity to join it. So you could do the Florida segment, for instance, if you chose to, with a supported ride. And I would direct you, when you have time, to go to Timberline Adventures and see what they're doing. The other thing that I think you'll find is that the East Coast Greenway Trail website has suggestions for weekend trips using various segments of the trail. They have segmental maps, ideas of what you can do in a given period of time on various parts of the trail. I found a very interesting article in bicycling.com in March 2021 by Micah Ling, Ling. And they talk about one of the most interesting and beautiful sections of the trail is from Durham to Raleigh in North Carolina. I know this area pretty well. My son went to University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and that's, of course, Duke is at Durham. If you're a Chapel Hill fan, Duke is your nemesis in basketball. But this section of the trail goes from Durham to Raleigh and is about 75 miles, and it's all pathway, and they call it one of the most beautiful sections of the trail along the entire route. So it's just something to keep in mind. I'm always looking for something interesting to do, and I always want to provide our listeners with something interesting to do. There's a great deal of interest in trails whenever we talk about it here on our live streams, and I think that great things are going to happen on this particular trail. Looking at this note here, actually 97% of the trail from Durham to Raleigh is protected. So there is some short areas of roadway. I'd love to hear from anyone who has experience on the trail. Of course, it's incorporating a lot of the trails that we use. The St. John's River to Sea Loop Trail. There's a lot of trails up in the area of St. Augustine that are going to be involved in this, along with creating some additional trails to link it together. So let us hear your experiences of it. And I'd love to have anybody tell us about their adventures on this thing if they take the Timberline Adventures tour this summer. Just a reminder, people who see us on live stream see me, and sometimes they know who Katie is. We have quite a team of people here at Jim Dodson Law devoted to helping our cycling clients and our injury clients. I think there's 7 of us on the team that are right here working. My legal assistant, Judy, Katie is behind the scenes working with client relations. I've got an adjuster who works for us who's retired from Travelers. I've got a person that does all the behind the scenes creation of our creative things. We have office person, Kathy, got another lawyer in the office named Joe. So there's a lot more that meets the eye. I'm a little bit like the iceberg. You see the tip, but you don't see all the ice under the surface where all the work is being performed. I have a special passion for representing cyclists, whether you've been injured on the bike or perhaps in a car crash. And wherever you are in Florida, if you need us after you've been injured, I wish you'd give us a call because I'm here to help you. Regardless of where you are. So I'm Jim Dodson, the Florida Bike Guy. If we can help you, call. I look forward to talking to you next time we do a program. Thank you. Enjoy the East Coast Greenway Trail. Take care.